This is the heartbreaking story of Janelle Matthews, a 12-year-old brave girl who disappeared from her home in Colorado and vanished for decades. Trigger warning that this case does involve the unaliving of a child, so if that is triggering to you in any way, shape, or form, please skip this video. Your mental health matters more. I will see you in my next one. On December 20th, 1984, 12-year-old Janelle Matthews sang in her school's Christmas concert in Greenlee, Colorado. After her show, her sister was playing in a basketball game, so her family wanted to stay at the school. But Janelle was not feeling well, so her friend's family offered to drive her home and drop her off. But sadly, that was the last time anyone would ever see Janelle again. By 9:30 p.m., her dad returned, finding the garage door open, shoes by the door, but no sign of Janelle. Her sister came home after that basketball game, still no sign of Janelle. And that's when everyone began to panic. Police arrived by 10:15 p.m. They discovered no forced entry and no sign of a struggle. Now keep in mind this is December in Colorado, so there was snow all over the ground, and detectives had spotted footprints near one window that were tampered with. Someone had raked over the footprints to try to get rid of them. These footprints didn't really lead to anything, but her family never gave up. Janelle became one of the first Milk Carton Kids, which was a national campaign reminding America about missing children. Janelle's smiling face reached far and wide, but still, nothing came. 10 years later, Janelle's family held a memorial and they called it Closing the Door. But they never truly stopped hoping that news would come. Almost 4 decades after her disappearance, in July of 2019, just 15 miles from Greenlee, Colorado, oil pipeline workers were digging when they hit human remains and called police. It was Janelle. Her remains were found, hidden under years of soil, only 15 miles from where she went missing. The coroner confirmed that she was unalived from a single wound to the head. For her family, it was relief mixed with disbelief that after 35 years, some answers finally might come, and they could find out what actually happened to their little 12-year-old girl who went missing from their home almost 4 decades ago. That November, a Weld County grand jury indicted a suspect, Stephen Dana Pankey, a former youth pastor at the Matthews Church who was excommunicated. Think about that. Your pastor at the church you went to. What? I can't even begin to wrap my mind around that. Pankey had reacted oddly in 1984. He was seen digging holes in random places and raking over snow prints. Something that they found at the Matthews home 3 decades ago was the fact that snow prints were raked over. Very suspicious. And he was seen bragging to random people that he knew secrets no one else knew. His ex-wife reportedly warned police in 1999. She said that he was suspicious of him and that he burned a car on their property to get rid of evidence, probably. His first trial began in October of 2021, but it ended in a mistrial. The jury just couldn't reach a verdict. But authorities never gave up. A year later, in October of 2022, the retrial began. Prosecutors presented circumstantial evidence and Pankey's own words. His obsession, his behavior, the timing of it all, and thankfully, a jury found him guilty of felony and second-degree kidnapping, and he was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years, meaning he could be released in 2040. I hope not, but he could. During Janelle's father's victim impact statement, he looked directly at Pankey and said, "You've been obsessed with your actions and your conscience just couldn't let you forget." Janelle's community had held onto hope for decades, and now in a courtroom, justice was finally served. It's cases like these that give hope to the cases that have been unsolved for decades, that justice could just be right around the corner. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for spending time with me, and thank you for listening to Janelle's story. I would love to hear your thoughts about this case in the comments, or if you have cases you want me to cover, please let me know as well. I post true crime videos every week, so make sure you follow along so you don't miss the next one, and please stay safe out there. This 17-year-old girl disappeared after a night out with friends, and her body wasn't found for months. This is the story of Emily Meng. Emily was born in 1999 and lived in the small town of Korsør, Denmark. I hope I'm saying that right. She was known to be creative and kind, and she was deeply loved by her family and friends. Emily was a talented singer. She performed in her church choir and dreamed of pursuing a career in music one day. She was 17 years old. She had just finished school for the summer, so she wanted to spend all of her free time hanging out with her friends. I did the same thing when I was 17. On July 10th, 2016, Emily went out with 2 close friends in Slagelse, a nearby town. Hopefully I'm saying that one right too. They stayed out late, laughing, taking photos, having a good time, catching up, doing typical teenager activities. At 3 a.m., the girls arrived at the train station to head home. Emily got off at her Corsair stop, which was just a short walk to her home, but unfortunately she never made it back home. When Emily didn't return home that morning, her family immediately reported her as missing. It was very unlike Emily to not come home after hanging out with friends for a night. So police began searching, but there were immediate concerns brought up by her family that the search was just going too slow and police weren't moving fast enough. And despite searches and media attention to this case, days turned into weeks, which turned into months, with no sign of Emily. Emily's face was everywhere in Denmark. In the media, it was on posters in newspapers, but no trace of her was found. Until December 24th, 2016, more than 5 months later, when a dog walker found human remains near a small village of Borup, about 65 kilometers, which is roughly 40 miles, from where Emily disappeared. And dental records later confirmed that it was her. A medical examiner later determined that Emily had been unalived and dumped on the side of the road. For years, there were no arrests, and this became one of Denmark's most haunting unsolved cases. Police faced lots of criticism for their slow movement in the early days of the investigation, and the public began demanding justice. Then in April of 2023, a major break in the case came. A 32-year-old man was arrested. His name was not released at the time, but he was already in custody for a separate violent kidnapping and assault of another young woman in 2022. Authorities linked him to the Emily Meng case through forensic evidence, including items found in his property near Corsair, just a few kilometers from where Emily vanished. The man, who had once worked as a car mechanic and lived a quiet, seemingly ordinary life, was charged with her unaliving and remains in custody as proceedings continue. Emily Meng was just 17 years old. She had a family and friends who absolutely adored her. Her friends still talk about her laugh and how she had dreams of becoming a professional singer. She had dreams of becoming a professional singer that she never got to fulfill. And her case forever changes how missing person cases are handled in Denmark. That is everything I have on this case. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I hope whoever he is, whatever his name is, he rots behind bars for life. I post true crime videos, so if you like this type of content, follow so you don't miss my next video, and please stay safe out there because you never know what's right around the corner. This mother left her 16-month-old baby home alone while she went on a 10-day vacation to Puerto Rico. This is the heartbreaking story of Jalen Candelario. I do want to give a trigger warning that this video does involve the unaliving of a small child. Please take care of yourself. Your mental health matters. Also, just a disclaimer that I am just a girl, I'm not a lawyer, and all this information is publicly available on the internet. Crystal Candelario was 32 years old and living in Cleveland, Ohio with her 16-month-old daughter, Jalen. In June of 2023, Crystal went on vacation to Puerto Rico with another one of her older daughters and left Jalen alone in her playpen, home alone, for 10 days. During that time, neighbors said they reported hearing noises